Hey, Michelle, welcome.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Got Todd up in here. Quasera. Happy Friday, guys.
Hopefully everybody's builds are doing awesome this week.
I'm doing pretty awesome myself.
Oh, good.
Yeah. How about you?
Am I on?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Hey guys, how are you? Musashi here. Hope you had a great week. How you guys doing? The Ninja surprise. See, I remember this time. How you been?
Well, right now I'm Townstar, but yeah, Ninja Surprise. I'm doing good. Just sneaking around like my usual self.
Okay, cool. Sneaky, sneaky.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Yeah. So let's give it a second. Hello, everyone that's coming in. Who's connected now? Poolhound. Hey, Poolhound. Channel Water. Of course, DubstepRod is here. Hey, man. Welcome back. Oh, I see Volkern just joined. Isn't that a surprise?
Volcron, welcome back.
Volker will tell us a little bit later on about his, what he's been up to the past 2 weeks. Who else is here? Crypto Yami. Hey, I know you. Citizen X. Kenny Pre. And Rocket Unit to the moon. Great, man. Welcome to the AMA. How are we on people on the stage? Are we all here?
Hey, how's it going?
Looks like it.
Yeah, looks like everyone's
We are
here.
ready to roll.
Everybody.
Hey, who's
Hey,
that?
Sage. Happy
Hey,
Friday.
Hey, Sage. So, hey, welcome to the June 2nd AMA, everybody. We've been doing this weekly AMA since July last year, so we're getting close to a year. And we're meeting every week to share what's going on with, the team, the game, answer questions, share some news, maybe a leak or two. As Sage usually says, we like to walk the talk. So, welcome, everybody. Michelle, what's first on our agenda?
I think we had did we have a new team member we were going to introduce first? Is he here?
Oh, right. So, do we have?
I don't see
You may
him.
need to be a speaker.
Yeah, he maybe know
I'm
to.
not sure what his Twitter handle is.
Oh, let's see.
I see him at the
Well, we
bottom.
can skip it. And when he does show up,
is it
Yeah,
El Jefe?
El Jefe.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I got him. Sorry.
Oh, you got him?
Yeah, he just requested.
That's better.
Hey, so that's El Jefe. That's our newest team member. Hey, man, welcome to the team. Welcome to your first AMA. And why don't you tell the players a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Musashi. Happy to be here. Really excited to join the Townstar team here. We've got a good lineup. I'm coming with a background, most of my career in product. Most recently, worked on some Web3 games over at Virtually Human Studios. So I'm coming in with a lot of good perspectives on Web3, open economics, and new user and first-time user experiences. So really excited to jump in and see what we can create.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, El Jefe, El Jefe means the boss. Kev and I worked a little bit on a previous game, Web3 game. We worked on renting. Is that right?
Yeah, a lot of exciting opportunities there where players were able to work collaboratively and scale, even operations within their own teams and play styles, depending on how they like to play. Some like to be more on the manager side, and others like to play head to head in the day-to-day competitions. So some really fun interactions there that, you know, might see some opportunity here one day. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely. So welcome to the team again. So what's next, Farmer Michelle?
Let's have K Sarah talk a bit about the rewards for May Mayhem so far.
Okay, happy Friday, everybody. So, the rewards that we've given out so far, in achievements and referrals, we have given out well over 5 million Gala so far. We have given out almost 1 million in Gala just for loyalty rewards, and that is something which we'll keep adding to. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the future rewards. But before that, let me talk a little bit about cheating in general. Like, there's been a bit of slight confusion recently when it comes to what means what we call a cheater. Like, at least I find myself confused at sometimes. So there are two different types. One is cheating and one is duplicate accounts. Cheating is when you use some illegal means to gain advantage in the game, and then there are duplicates accounts, which you can probably see over our leaderboard. If you would have noticed so far, every week before we finalize the competition leaderboard, we remove all the duplicate accounts from the top 1200. It does require a little bit of manual effort on our part. That's why rewards are sometimes a little bit delayed. But I'm sure you have noticed that there are plenty of those duplicate accounts or accounts that seem like bots all over the leaderboard. That is something we are currently working on. And that is why your achievement and referral rewards are slightly delayed. We are hoping that we can resolve that by next week, or at the very worst, the week after that. So apologies on delays over there. I'll pass it back to Michelle.
But wait. Before we go back, so you're saying that we have a couple of delays because we're removing some multi-accounts and stuff like that. But is it 5 million Gala we're giving away?
Yes, we have given up over 6 million Gala just in Mayhem rewards, not including the competition rewards so far.
Oh, okay. So 6 million in Mayhem without competition. That's great, man. Thank you so much for your work getting those rewards out. And we're hoping to get, ahead of schedule as soon as possible once we remove the people who shouldn't get them.
Fingers crossed.
So thank you, man. Okay, cool. So remember, guys, if you have questions, you can post them in the Discord. We'll be picking up some of them. What's next, Michelle? What's coming down our list?
Let's take a minute to remind everybody that our release times have changed. They used to be at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we've moved them to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We did that based on community feedback, because there was a lot of people who were having the updates in the middle of the night. So we tried to find a better time where it would affect less people. It's not going to be perfect. We're trying to take feedback and get it at a good time so that as many people as possible will be around when it does happen.
Yeah, that's a great point. So we heard what you guys were saying. There was always a lot of concerns regarding the timing of, or pushing out the updates. So what we did is that we're basing off the new schedule on the competition beginning and ends. So, usually the rollover is at 10 PST. Is that correct, Michelle?
When the competitions start?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 10 a.m. PST.
Right. So once the competition ends, we need to do a push to enable the next meta. So that's why we're doing it an hour later. So that became our new update time. So I know that we've seen a lot of appreciation for that change. So thank you guys for all the feedback. Thank you for telling us how it is. We still got some people angry about the change, but it's a round world. We can't please everybody. The good thing is that Volker will come in with a little bit more information that will probably make that a non-issue in the near future. So,
Yay!
yay.
The next thing I wanted to mention quick before we moved on is the Gala to Town burn. That's been running for a couple months now, maybe 1 month. We're gonna plan on ending that burn process for Town to Gala sometime mid-September, probably right around the middle of the month. So if you haven't yet burnt your town to get your Gala in return, definitely think about doing that. There's a blog post all about it right in the pins in the discussion channel. And we'll be making announcements periodically and more frequently as we get closer to when the time for that's going to end. And I think we're moving on. It sounds like we're moving on to an impersonation, but I don't know if that's real or if someone's just throwing funny notes in my
So,
document.
I don't know if they're correct or not, but El Jefe, someone was asking in Discord, like more specifically, what's your responsibility in the team? And I'm seeing our notes that your responsibility is doing Christopher Walken impersonations. Is that correct?
Yeah, getting paid a lot of money to do them. I don't really know where it came from, but I'll have to keep working on it if I want to make some money. I'll see myself.
No, good shot.
That's great.
What did I just
Yeah.
hear?
So, okay, so you're not making money off impersonations. So what's your, what would you say
Yeah.
is your, what would you
So
say
what
is
I'll
your
actually
contribution
be
to the
doing
team or your
is
responsibilities?
joining Que Sera Sera within product, helping quantify some of our goals, opportunities, and priorities within the team as we grow.
He's going to get us a lot of new players.
Right. So El Jefe is working on, taking numbers, KPIs, and as we call them, and also new features. So we'll be working with him regarding FTUE and a couple of things that we want to improve in the game. And no more impersonations from him, but thank you for trying, man. Cool. So what's next, Michelle?
We are moving on to talking about the community meta poll results. So last Friday during the AMA, we set up a poll so that you all could choose from a few options what you would like the next meta to be. The winner of that poll ended up being uniforms. So the next competition will be uniforms, and flower was what you all decided you wanted cash boosted. So it's going to be cash boosted. Were you going to say something, Que Sera Sera?
Yeah, I know that at least I am ready for the uniform meta because I've followed Dubstep's videos and set everything up in the past. So super well prepared. Let's go.
Hopefully everyone's had at least a little bit of experience with uniforms. It should be a good one, especially for new people coming in. I feel like it's relatively easy to make. So that should be a nice fun one. Plus there's plenty of experience inside the Discord. So many people have made uniforms and so many people have some really awesome uniform builds. So should be a good week. Oh, also, we are going to be switching the competition lengths from 4 full days to 3 full days. So they're still going to start at the same time, but going forward, they're going to end Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time instead of Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That way we can release the update and get the new meta in during the work week and not have to update the game on Saturday when there's less engineers around just in case something does go wrong. So they're going to be 3 days now. Yes, 3 days. 1 day shorter than normal. Hopefully everyone is excited. Everybody looks happy in Discord.
So far, yeah. So 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 all of these changes are thanks to your feedback, guys. We're constantly looking. Farmer Michelle is interacting with you every day, and she's reporting, what things you're saying, and we're gonna try it out. So we're gonna try out 3 days. And also, thank you so much for participating in the polls. I mean, we want to hear what you guys have liked before in the game, things that we can bring back, maybe do a little change here or there to make it a little more interesting. So we're having uniforms. And do you have any idea of what's coming after uniforms? Farmer Michelle and Que Sera Sera?
We do. If everyone's good for me to tell the world what the next meta is going to be after uniforms and flower, I will gladly tell them.
Let's go for it, Michelle.
All right, so after we do uniforms, we took another one from the poll, and we are going to do Cabernet wine, and we're going to cash boost flower. So now you all
Sorry.
have. Oh, nope, we're going to cash boost wool. I lied.
Yes.
Flower is the first week. Wool is the second week.
So those were the other top choices from the meta. And technically, the second best choice was the candy canes, but we thought we've been doing so much food stuff. Like, why not have some drink this time?
Exactly. I don't think any decisions have been made yet on what the biome and edges will be for that second week, the Cabernet week. So if you guys have suggestions,
Yes, please do tell us. We'll make it
don't let
known.
me decide because I'll end up picking 4 mountainsides and no one will be able to sell anything.
Okay, so last time I mentioned that my I live in a city that is actually, like 4 mountains, super tiles. And I don't know, did you guys don't want, like, you guys don't want that much shade in your town? What's the issue with so many mountains? I really like it here. Do you want a river? Do you want plains? What do you want on your edges? Please let Farmer Mitchell know. A desert
They'll
with one
each
river.
need to get a UFO or a flying dragon to afford that.
So you're saying no full mountain biome? That makes me sad.
It is nice to see the sunshine a little bit. If we've got 4 mountains, not a lot of
Hey,
sunshine coming in.
Griffey's saying new NFT, mountain climber transport. I like that. I like that idea. I like how you think. Biome for uniform meta. That's coming, guys. So please wait a little bit. We gotta get to different sections, but yeah. So thanks for the announcement. Thanks, community, for participating in the polls. Please keep doing so. We do listen to what you guys say, and we want to know what you guys want. So that's why we have uniforms, and that's why we have 3 days for competitions coming now. So what's up, Michelle? What's coming next?
I believe we're moving on to game updates. Let's start talking about what all happened this week.
Game updates. I think that's me. So we've done a bunch of changes. I think we released 2 or 3 times this week. First release was on Saturday. As we said before, that's 1 hour after the competition ends. We're aiming to do a push to enable the next meta in casual mode, so all of you can start practicing right away. So expect the same, if everything goes well, expect the same for tomorrow. So uniform meta should be available in-game around an hour after the current competition lasagna ends. Starting next week, since we're moving to 3 days, expect that change on Fridays. So that's when the new meta should become available in casual mode. So that was our first release of the week. And then with a couple of releases with fix things like building rotation. Some people were telling me that it was driving them nuts since it was opposite to the legacy. So we fixed it. There were some prioritization issues with some storehouses and a couple of buildings. We fixed all of those. Quite a few visual bugs that we fixed, like, for example, the generation station ghost card, seafood warehouse. And I think we had some sizing issues with some commodities from crafts like ice, lumber, and energy. So those are all fixed. And of course, we worked a ton in stability. I know that you guys are still seeing disconnects and still seeing some issues, but we are working constantly in stability. And for example, one of the things we did was fix the stability around the creation and destruction of towns. So when you abandon a town or when you create a new one, that's a little bit more tidy now. And of course, we always do localization improvements. You've seen sometimes that there are texts that don't appear, and we keep fixing those. So thank you for reporting everything that you're reporting. Now, regarding additions to the game, let's see. Well, the first thing is that we enabled the lasagna meta, as I said before. So we added the lasagna and pasta sauce craft an hour after the competition ended. I know you guys really love that. And we've added a bunch of NFTs to the game. So Hatchet Hank and Super Storehouse that went on sale past Monday. Those were added. And also we added ghost cards for Gourmet Delight. And so Gourmet Delight um, is the previous Ghost Card reward. And we also added Gracias Restaurante. So Gracias Restaurante is the NFT reward for the current competition for lasagna. So that means that we're ready to roll that out come Monday. I think that's the quickest we've done before. So expect that drop early next week because that thing's already in game, ready to go out. Are there any comments on that, guys? Do you see anything, Farmer Michelle? Questions about updates?
Not any questions about the updates that had happened, just people asking for updates on some specific NFTs.
Specific NFTs. Yeah, I mean, we're still working on them. Someone was asking about the Noir Hero. Noir Hero and a couple of others are special cases from the old game. So we're getting to those next. Well, we're still fixing a couple of the ones that are out already in the game. So remember, guys, anything that you see that's wrong with an NFT, because we have so many, and the team has limited capacity, it will really help us if you report in Farmer Michelle's form the issue like very thoroughly, like saying, hey, so this thing is supposed to do A and it's doing B. So that helps us narrow down those issues and fix them quicker. Haunted Zones, I think that's in the work. We said it before. Our hero, it seems like a lot of people have the Noir Hero, but we are checking that out next. Cool. So anything else?
I did
on gas
see someone asking a question about NFT storehouses. I did see people during the week this week mentioning that the units are like walking slower into NFT buildings versus walking into regular buildings. I don't know. I don't know if there's like a reason for that or if that's just something we need to look into, but I did see people talk about it this week, so we should probably look into it.
That sounds so weird because the idea of coding something up to make them walk slower just sounds bizarre. So then it would have to be a bug, or could it be a perceptual issue? But definitely something to check on.
Yeah, we'll have to look into it this week.
All
right,
so
let's
we'll
move
ask.
on.
We'll ask Legendary SK. You know that she's in charge of our QA. If she has a ticket for that, and to check that out. We'll figure it out, guys. Thank you
If
for
anybody
reporting.
has a video of it, please share it. Do a quick capture and share it. That'll give SK a quick leg up on getting details.
All right. So I think we are moving on to what's coming up next for game updates, what the plans are. See if Volcron wants to talk a little.
Yeah. Hopefully my mic is working okay here. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Can you hear me, guys?
We can hear you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we can hear you.
Sorry, all right. Yeah, so I guess the two big ones, of course, besides disconnects, which I'll talk about in a sec, are the fast forward feature, aka offline play, and game stability. Fast forward is really interesting. It's exposing a lot of the elements of the engine that are not necessarily exposed when you're running the game at normal speed and you've got a dozen or so players connected to the server. In particular, there was a crash inside the engine, inside the C++ code for fast forwarding that you would only see if when you're so imagine a blank town, right? So the nav mesh, or let's say, if you don't know what a nav mesh is, just imagine a piece of paper laying over your town, and it tells your units where they can walk. Now you plop down a building, so you're going to punch a hole in that piece of paper, the shape of the building. So units cannot walk there. And so your nav mesh has to be recalculated. That's one way to think about it. And what we found is that there were intermittent bugs inside the actual engine code. The nav mesh functionality is provided by Godot, and we use it, and we have some modifications on it. But in the exact same frame, and if you're not familiar with frame, just imagine it's.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
Voltron, hold on for a second. Put your mouth closer to the mic or something like that.
Oh.
We can hear you, but it sounds like you're in a big room,
Oh no.
about 3 or 4 feet away from the mic.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate.
Maybe it's the echo detection software's turning down the volume or something like
it
that.
should be. I'm actually wearing headset mic, so.
Put it in your
yeah,
mouth.
I'll put it in my mouth. So I guess is that any better? I've tried repositioning it.
Not really. Maybe you just got to talk much louder.
Okay, I'll try that. So the long and the short of it is we've exposed some elements of the engine that are only exposed during fast forwarding, that are not exposed during normal play. So if you imagine in the same frame that you have punched that hole in that nav mesh, that the game, this is random, that's why this crash was intermittent, that the game also, a unit is changing its direction, it's finished work, now it's got a new pathfinding order. There was a bug in the engine that caused that to crash. So we found a workaround for that, and that's only for fast forwarding. But that's the level of testing that we're at now with the fast forwarding. So it's no longer our implementation. Can this be done? All that sort of stuff. Now we're like, okay, well, we're fast forwarding, let's say 20 towns. What kind of interesting, engine level things are we running into? Yep. So that's where we are in fast forwarding. Still under testing. Stability wise, there was one unfortunate, bug that went out last week that should have been caught. So we're addressing that through our better processes, improving what we're doing before the MR. Everybody's good at looking at the code, but we were just missing a couple of pre-flight checks before it landed in QA, which we've addressed now, and some other administrivia for that. And then as far as stability goes, I was looking at the merges we've done, the approved code and all that, and quite a bit. This doesn't draw out in our notes, but quite a bit of this are internal fixes too. Fixing anything from analytics calls, batching that up, other network congestion, things like that we don't really announce in our release notes. So there's, I'd say probably 60 to 70% of our commits are focused on stability. So that's kind of what's coming up next in terms of fast forward and stability. Is there any kind of a roadmap stuff maybe Musashi would want to talk about?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that the short of the Volcran's Technobabble is sorry, is that fast forwarding it's finally the final stages, since now we've been working with the Gala team itself to fix some of the issues that we found. They have been very grateful in helping us fix those issues. So we're hoping to get it like really, really soon. We'll keep you updated. From Michelle will update all that information as soon as we got more clarity. I see some questions about are we testing? Yeah, we're testing that. Are we testing with more load? Or we'll definitely try to break it to see how much it holds. It should be fine. But thank you everybody for your patience. That's once that goes out, I think it will be a game changer for the game, for the community, and also for trying to bring in new players. So thank you everybody. And thank you, working on your team, for making that happen. So next up is Roba. What's coming up for the game? Let's see. So first thing is, as I've said before, stability. So fixing the disconnects and releasing fast forward is our main priority. We said last week that we have our top man on that, and they are our top men. And They are hard at work at getting the fix done, as we said before. But after that, our main priority is daily challenge and earnings. So we want to bring back daily challenge. We're working on the distribution systems, earnings, town points, everything that you know from legacy. We're working on that, and also we'll have to bring into the game NFTs that are not native to Townstar, but they are a big part of the daily challenge stuff. So that includes Vox and Miranda's Vox NFTs that give town points, as you may know. So we'll also have to work on those. Maybe closer to that, we have a bunch of quality of life improvements that we're adding to the game. I won't say about all of them, but there are a couple of things like, for example, auto trade, access. We're moving from settings and getting into the main HUD, so it's easier to access auto trade. You don't have to open up settings for that. That's the simplest one, but we have a couple more. And other thing that we have another engineer working on is time of day. So this is something that Sage has shown you before in different AMAs, and it's something that we really like. I think it looks really cool how the town changes from morning to noon, and then to afternoon, and then to night. That's really visually striking, and I think that especially new players will really love that, how the game looks. I don't know, Sage, if you have some information on what you've seen so far, and how you think that the thing will look.
Well, I've only seen the prototypes before, so the final proof will come. The proof will be in the pudding, so to speak. But I know that very shortly Todd's going to show some new art there, and I'm looking at the combo of the new updates on art, plus time of day, plus new terrain, and I'm pretty excited. I am. I can't wait till we get this, and it is going to add this whole new sort of visual feel to the game. Now, the question people are going to ask. Right question to ask is time of day going to affect gameplay, utility, or anything like that? We'll save that. We'll just get the visuals working to start with, and then we'll see what happens. Because you can imagine, now that we have this new design vector of time of day, that in the future we could use that design vector for even more fun, surprise, and delight. So pretty cool.
So anything that you can tell us, like some of your high level ideas of what could affect, what could be affected by time of day?
Oh, sure. Like the simplest thing is, hey, when it's nighttime, lights on houses and things turn on. Now, that's easy to say, but I also know that kind of thing can cause performance issues on the engine. So, of course, we'll test it out and see what we can do. Or other things like maybe some new creatures come out at night, or maybe there's night blooming plants or something like that. So it is just such a rich area to be involved with. You can imagine sets of eyes, sets of glowing eyes showing up here and there. Just all kinds of cool stuff, just visual and also gameplay too.
Definitely. I love the design vectors that can bring. So we're working on that.
Wait a
And
minute. I just see Todd rose up upside down creatures, right? Maybe bats, but then somebody else put ghosts there. Holy cow, I didn't even think about ghosts. Imagine
I
Halloween ghosts.
I
Wow.
think Todd means like Stranger Things kind of monster. Is that what you mean? Is Todd here?
Yep. I'll be down for either one: bats, ghosts, ghouls.
Okay.
Holes.
Sorry, I missed that reference there. I was thinking more explicit, like what creatures come out at night, bats, but upside down as well.
Okay, awesome. So thank you, Sage. Thank you, Todd. Farmer Michelle, what's next?
We are moving on to Q&A. And we already have an answer to the first question I have in here. When the first question was, can we have shorter competitions?
So the answer to that is yes. So I know that you guys have already, to give your appreciation for that. Please, everyone, give your opinion. Like, if there's someone who doesn't like 3 days, also let us know. We need all the information we can get from you guys. But yeah, we're gonna do Tuesdays to Fridays, starting with next week's uniform meta. So starting on Tuesday, that's the uniform meta competition. That's gonna end on Fridays. So please be advised, be aware, prepare your prepare your towns for that. Practice beforehand. It's gonna be one less day to rank high in the leaderboards.
Awesome. The next question that I have here is, can Volcron discuss why players may experience a disconnection?
I sure can. Is this mic any better? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's much better.
Okay, great. I just took off my headset. Yeah, well, there's three kind of unplanned reasons, right? Surprises or things we don't want. And then there's one planned reason for disconnect. The planned one is regular maintenance, right? Like when we, as everybody knows, when we do an update, so if it's not just a data update, it requires the client to reload. And that's an unfortunate aspect right now. And you know, we want to fix that and make that smoother. Definitely with offline play, it'll be less of a concern, but that's a planned reason, right? And we know the UI needs a bit of work on that to communicate that to you, like upcoming maintenance periods, stuff like that. The three unplanned reasons, one would be the server is just overloaded and we're stretching the limits of Godot, the Godot engine memory allocation. This is something that we have fixed and testing for as of last night. So pretty excited to see that progress there, and really excited to see how that does on our servers today. Internal, of course, we're not just going to dump that on you guys, right? See something in chat about adding an ex-wife to the game. The next unplanned reason is the WebSocket, the networking. If any of you guys are network engineers or you're just curious, you know, because you're running some company's game on your personal hardware, you might notice the traffic that your client sends to the server or it receives, and sometimes that just gets overloaded as well. Too many messages at once. This happens in all multiplayer games, and the way that I should say most multiplayer games, and one of the ways they get around it is by proper streaming, and that's in progress. So we actually have that being worked on by QA right now. We're testing that out. The third unplanned reason is rare. It's the server crashing, like I mentioned earlier. Sometimes when we just stretch the limits of the game, we find nobody's perfect, and sometimes they were to crash into the server. But those are typically super easy to fix. Of course, those are priority one on our part. Any kind of server crash is fixed within hours, if not minutes. So that's rare. I guess the fourth would be kind of random in that. Hold on, Dash Rip Rock. How can you make trouble now based on what you said? Yeah, no, that's a great question, Dash, and I'll get to that in a sec. And the fourth reason that's unplanned would be just your network goes out, right? So yeah, so to answer Dash's question, how can we expect to scale, to millions or tens of millions of players when we're having these troubles now? Well, I mean that is part of the plan, right? We're seeing how the game behaves with a certain number of servers. What can they support? A certain bandwidth, and then planning accordingly. So as we fix these network problems, the number of servers that we have to use to maintain, groups of 10,000 players at a time will go down and down and down and get cheaper and cheaper, and we'll be able to scale better. So already the infrastructure is 90% there. It's this last bit that we're fixing that, will allow us to scale. So Dash, I hope that answers your question. Yeah, and so those are the main reasons for disconnects.
Yeah, I would jump in there a little bit more about scaling. Having seen products go from broken to millions of DAU scaling, it's not as complex as it seems, because once you get the bugs out of the paths that everybody's going on, then it just works. That's the way software does it. And then what you're dealing with is server crashes or hardware outages and random things like that, which sometimes you can control and sometimes you can mitigate. Sometimes you can't. So I've got a lot of confidence because also I know the behind the scenes work. The issue about scaling, we've worked with our DevOps team for the last couple of months about scaling. Volcron's been involved in that. Some of our other devs deeply involved in making sure that work, as well as the whole company. So I think we're good. And then but if there's bugs that pop up, we'll fix them as we come onto them, right? There is definitely a difference between running with 1,000 players and 10,000 players and 100,000 and 1 million. right? It's different. But yeah, we'll fix them. It's all good there.
The next question that I have here says, when can we choose our own biome?
Right. So that's actually one of my babies, as I said before. I want to introduce some randomness. So the short answer is not very soon because we're concentrating first on fast forward stability and everything that Volkan just talked about. Like how do we prepare for more players in a more stable way? That's our main focus right now. And the next focus is daily challenges. We want to turn on earnings for you guys. So those are our main priorities. After we've gone through a bit of that, I want to concentrate on improving the competitions and adding this kind of randomness. Imagine that when you set up a town, you don't get the same town, you get like certain variations of it, and maybe you can do something to lock certain options, like, oh, I want a river on the east for this particular competition, or I want a desert instead of a plain. So those are things that are designed, but we just haven't had time to get to them yet because we're focusing on more pressing stuff. That goes into a couple of questions and comments that I already said before, like what's the roadmap? So, for example, I see a question here in the AMA's Twitter thread. I think it's called. I don't know, the space thread. Syed Umar asking when Town available for mobile. So that's something that we're also looking at the same time with quality of life improvements. So we're trying to make the game work properly on touchscreens, and then we'll look at native mobile versions at some point. So when you ask for when bio, when this, when that, this is all in the pipeline. It's just that we are getting to things at different times, and so we're prioritizing also fixes. So we'll get to these things when we can, but please keep giving your feedback about what you want first, what is more important to you, what things are broken and need to be fixed right away, and so on. Okay, Farmer Michelle, are there any other questions? Maybe we have something that we've seen in Discord or in Twitter, like I just mentioned. Any other questions?
Let's see. I'm going to see people asking about things that we've already talked about earlier today.
Yeah, there was some question about the rewards. So if you check out the recording for this later on, you'll see that Que Será Será talked about the reward structure, the things that have gone out at the beginning of the AMA. So please check that out. And anything else?
Not that I can see.
Crypto Tunes was asking, do we have and can we share an average age demographic?
Yeah, I was just reading that one. So I can share the generalities of it. We know it is just an older, more mature audience, and I guess the question I'm focusing on is: are we looking at bringing in a younger audience and targeting youth? I think the key is we're looking at opening it up so that the audience will be larger. And in terms of trying to target youth or older players, I try to stay away from that and more target people who like fun. And that sounds, it actually flies exactly in the face of every marketing person that tells me, who's ever told me you need to focus on X and target X and do that. But what I've found is that if you can create some universal fun, then the audience will come and find you. And now our performance marketing team will say, hey, give me some target demographics to go and find and market to. And sure, we'll do that. But really, it's if we can create that, I don't know, good, wholesome fun, the fun you like to show up and play every day. It doesn't have to be complex. Keep it simple. That, we're targeting the audience that likes that stuff.
Okay, I see another question. I know we've already discussed it today, but Sonic is asking when will the offline work? So basically, when fast forward is going to be working. The answer to that, like the short answer, is that we are closer now than we ever been before, thanks to the work that we've done with the Godot engine team itself. So expect an update next week regarding times. And yeah, it's basically we're testing already. So thank you guys for your patience.
Yeah, so was it Artuxus said make the game more user-friendly, attract more people. Yeah, I think we've talked about that in the past in terms of there'll be different modes that will attract different types of people. You know, forever mode, sandbox mode will attract a different audience than competition mode. We talked about even different types of competitions, maybe competitions for decorators, plus, you know, hardcore, you know, want to optimize the layout of my town to get the most points type of players. So, yeah, we'll be looking at all that, just like we've been saying for the last 6 months. So we're now finally getting to that point of being able to execute on those visions, and it's really fun.
Let's see. Lexo is asking, are we allowed to play both normal and competition servers at the same time in one account? Yeah, like you can go into the main menu, go into casual, play around, and then go back to the main menu, go to a competition that's open. So yeah, that's already working. I can get to other questions at some other point, but I think that we need to move on. Michelle, what's coming up next?
Looks like Volcron was going to talk about what he's been doing for 2 weeks.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know if I can live up to the, you know, the epic story times we've had in the past, but yeah, I was out of the office 2 weeks while we moved. That's kind of the high level. We were moving about 2,500 miles, me and my family, and we didn't want to fly because we have two scaredy dogs and a bunny rabbit. And if anybody in Discord wants to see, I will share a couple pics. I'll start with scaredy dogs. Yeah, so we loaded up in our cars, and well, my wife's car, and then my truck, and then our travel trailer, and hooked it up and started driving. We had to plan months and months in advance in order to, you know, make the schedule and to make sure that it didn't interfere with Townstar. Here you can see our rabbit. He's chilling in the back seat, and his name is Boba. If you're familiar with the boba drink, and if you're familiar with rabbits, you'll realize they both have something in common. So, yeah. So we started off on our thanks, stream. Yeah, started off on our journey on a paved road. I'm just trying to not make too many. I'll make just enough Townstar references, but yeah, there were lots of dirt roads, especially with the one that I had to pull over. I was rocking out to some 80s thrash metal, and I didn't hear my low gas ding on my dashboard. So fortunately, didn't run out of gas. But this was in West Texas, so we that was an adventure. And then we ended up going through a lot of windmill area, a lot of energy coming off the windmills, and I kept annoying my wife on we have walkie-talkies so we could stay in contact even outside of cell range. And I was saying, hey, look, it's Townstar windmills. And she was annoyed rightfully by that. Next, we ended up in the brine harvesting area of Salt Lake City. Let me share a couple. And I had no idea how beautiful that part of the country was. But this one actually is going to be a picture of Provo, but it's just, if you ever get it, I mean, the U.S. is just so varied, and I've been mostly in the South, but this is just a random road, a random neighborhood in Provo. It really looks like that, and those mountains are super close. Like I couldn't believe it. So, obviously, mountains, Townstar reference. And we had a scary moment as we were climbing through from Moab to Provo, where my truck decided at 60 miles an hour that it was going to shift into four-wheel drive. That's not awesome for the transmission. So I had to pull over. It happened again randomly. And then at the top of the hill, I ended up talking to like some truckers and stuff because there's no cell signal and all this. And it just seemed really completely random and possibly tied to cruise control. So for the next 1,400 miles, I kept wondering if my truck was going to decide to switch into four-wheel drive mode, which it did not. Here's one of the RV parks we stayed at, the view we had. Just tremendous flowing water, beautiful rivers and all that. Here's Happy Pupper running through a field near some horsies. Can't really see those. And there's a little town in Colorado near Durango. I don't know if HIC files actually come through. Sorry, guys. Yeah, that one you might be iPhone people's only. But it was just amazing. And then finally, I'm going to do this little tribute to our upcoming, another HIC file, sorry. To our day-night cycles that we're hoping to get in the game pretty soon in front of players. It was just a beautiful, beautiful drive. It was awesome to be away from the computer for a little bit. And I'm so happy to be back and glad that the team was able to handle everything, without me. Just see all the work that was done, all the progress that was made. It was really awesome to come back to. So really grateful to be here and happy to be back in my Townstar world. And that was my journey.
Thank you for the pics, man. I'm really happy that you are in your new home now and you're back with the team, which is the most important thing to us and players. Making things work. So it's great that you're back with us.
Thanks, Misashi.
I think we're moving on to leaks.
Yep.
Oh man, we got some leaks this week. What a week, everyone. First of all, how are we all doing? Lack of leak gifts. A little disappointed in that, but I still have you guys covered. So let's start with one of the three things I want to touch on today. First is from the art team. Really cool stuff, some improved concepts. I'm going to drop in Discord. We'll need an iPhone to view these, so I got you guys covered on that. But we have the Salt Storehouse, Alpha Fountain, and Epic Wine Cellar. A couple things I want to touch on these that's really cool, not just from a technical standpoint, but from a user and also. If you check out like the Salt Storehouse, for example, the tries, which is like the amount of polygons, the original is nearly 465. The new one is at 287. Now, I'm terrible at math, but that's roughly a 40% difference. And the reason why that's important is because it retains smooth gameplay, frame rate, and when you get those 64 by 64 tiles, it's just going to make everything buttery smooth. But the cool thing about stuff like that is that it retains everything as before, but with better textures. Same can be said for the Epic Wine Cellar, and kind of the opposite though of the Alpha Fountain, where originally it was 136. Now it's at 169. Well, why is that? Why one NFT or building goes down in tries or one goes up? Well, it's going to be case by case, as you see, and it's just going to add more detail, such as the floral area around the fountain, just making a better environment, better theme, better experience when playing the game. So.
Yeah, Todd, let me jump in there for a note on that. Some of the old original Townstar art was really angular, right? Like that Alpha Fountain there was really angular when you look at it. And so we wanted to upgrade it for the new version. And sometimes that means curves, and that just adds a few more polys, right? But 169 versus 139, that's still a good decent amount of optimizations that's happened for V3 there.
Definitely. Yeah, the sharp edges, we want to keep away from that, less injury. So smooth everything out, just make it more visually, pleasing to the eye, especially as you build your town, drop all these buildings. And speaking of which, I do want to show an update on the terrain. First a photo, but I do have a video as well. But let's start with this photo first, because there's two versions I want to show. On your left, version 1, on your right, version 2. I think it's pretty obvious to see what's happening is that the team, they're still tweaking with the lighting, the colors, and even though it's a little bit intense on the version 2, I think we can all agree, though, it's just more like visually appealing. It pops off more, especially when you compare the old buildings to the new buildings as shown here. It's just really exciting, like getting to this stage.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, Todd. Is Is that in game where you're showing the difference in colors?
Oh yeah, because that is where the video comes in, and this is actual gameplay, courtesy from our amazing 3D artist Warmac. Him and Gina Bobina are just working relentlessly on this, and I mean, hats off. They're just killing it every week. So just to give a sign of confidence that Townstar is growing, it's getting better. This is the proof. I think we can all agree on that. So I do have another thing to touch on. I'm really excited about. It's not in-game, it's not NFTs, but it's actually about social media. And Ninja's Surprise, one of our newest members, he's given new life to the Townstar social media, such as Twitter and Instagram. It's been really cool to see that. A bit about myself is that I actually have a background in marketing. So I have this deep love and appreciation for strengthening a brand's identity. Some of those clients, it's like Star Wars Rogue One, Nissan, Gran Turismo, and of course now Gala, Townstar specifically. As we're growing as a company, as a team, so should the games that we touch on, being Townstar. So, with that said, what am I getting at? We want to do a really cool look, feel, energy to what we promote on these social platforms. I've been working with the team internally on a new kind of look and feel I'm going to share with you guys. And I think you'll all agree that these are some pretty cool mock-ups. They will cover a variety of topics such as the AMAs, what NFTs are available, leaderboards, new metas. It goes on and on. The cool thing about this is that it's not just a matter of, well, it's going to be cool how we can create these things, but for Ninja's surprised to have the toolkit himself to actually produce these things on the fly. And just to give a bit of a behind the scenes look as to what that looks like, I want to drop in what's similar to a press kit, if you guys have heard of that or seen one before, but it's kind of like what's underneath the hood. We have background colors, identity, patterns, typography, color. It just goes on, and these tool sets will grow with time. So I'm really excited to see what comes from it, and I just know it's going to be great. And with that, those are my leaks, except for one more, but I'm going to let Nishant, sorry, I'm going to let Sarah touch on that.
Yes, I think we talked about it last week itself. The NFT reward for the lasagna competition. The NFT reward is Gracia Ristorante. It is an Italian restaurant ghost card which will speed up all your car famous. Here are all the details about it. Come on, Todd, share some cool image. That's more important than this. Yes. So now
I'm still so
I
impressed by
think
that
we
new
can.
ghost card NFT art. It is just beautiful.
It looks amazing, doesn't it? Now we can move on to talking about the next, the details for the uniform meta. Correct me if I'm wrong, Misha.
Well, first of all, just to reiterate, that Gracia Restaurant ghost card should go out Monday, guys. So that's the
Oh
reward for the current
yes.
competition. It's we already have it in game. It's tested. It's ready to go out. So you'll be receiving that and playing with that early next week.
Yes. You'll have it in game on Monday. So let's talk about the uniform meta. What all details will be there? The biome, we're gonna keep it simple again. It's gonna be the plains. As far as the edges are concerned, we still wanna keep things a little on the harder side. So you're gonna find a mountain on both the north and the south side. There will be no rivers, no oceans. That's it. The trading time is still gonna be 80 seconds. It will cost you one guess to do so, and we are cash boosting flour as the community meta poll showed. But there will be another change to make it slightly harder, at least to make it harder for you to set up your whole town. The cash price for the uniforms will be halved, so you might still have to set up some floor.
Hey, a question though. So this is Plains East, right?
Yes, sorry. Yes, it is Plains East.
And the important thing is that like I'm in charge of creating these towns. So someone asked me for a special thing in it. What is this
Oh,
plane so
yes.
special? ¿Qué será?
This time around, we are gonna be adding a oil seep, so you won't have to set up your pump.
Right. So these planes, a biome, it's gonna have a special oil sip. They usually don't have it, but we'll have it in there, and it's gonna be facing east. Okay. ¿Qué será? What's up?
Yes.
What's next?
Finally, the reward for the week for the uniform meta. We are doing something called the Gale Force Dynamo. Let me share the details for it. It's a wind turbine ghost card which will speed up your craft timers. Now let's look at more art. Do we have it?
I'm sorry.
I was waiting for more art. Do we have something, Todd? Okay, let's. Yes, I think it's time for the most exciting part for today. Michelle, you want to talk about it?
Yeah. So after we get through uniforms and the competition after uniforms, which is the what do you say? Was just one of the wines. I forget which one now. Even though we talked about it less than half an hour ago. I was just so excited about the new content. So we've seen some new people wandering around town as we've been building this game. And we're pretty sure that what these people are looking for is gold and silver.
Oh,
So
new
we
things
have
coming
seen
to
them,
Townstar.
yeah, gold and silver and Townstar. We have seen them doing some pan mining, is what it appears that they're doing on the edges of town. So we're thinking about inviting them in and seeing what all they want to make in Townstar. And that's about all I'm going to leak for this.
Yes, let's keep more things for the next week. A lot of exciting things coming up.
But be on the lookout for some new faces around Townstar in the coming weeks. I think that brings us to our next point, which is the what do we got? The NFT for June will probably be related to that stuff. So we're not going to announce exactly what it is yet, but in the next couple of weeks, we will let you know exactly what that's going to be. We don't want to give away too much juicy information too early.
You might deduce what we are doing with it. So very soon.
Okay, so before we move on, I see a couple of comments regarding the starting town setup. Please tell Farmer Michel your comments and concerns and stuff like that. Maybe we can take a look at that. Hey, did you announce the what's coming out Monday? ¿Qué será? Hello?
That is definitely the last object left on our agenda here.
Yes, sorry, I was talking, but I forgot I muted my mic. Yes, on Monday, we're gonna have 2 new NFTs available in the game. Let me just put down all the details. So one of the when I first started playing the game, one of the things that annoyed me a lot was that there were so many animals, but to feed them, you only had a trough which could only hold 5 feet. Like, how do you work with that limit? But you no longer have to worry about that. On Michelle's request, the next week, first NFT that will be coming out is the big trough. It is going to be 3 times bigger than your normal trough. The base price would be $120. The total supply would be 600, although only 400 will be available on Monday, and it will come with a 25% discount. So you should be able to purchase it for $90. Then, but that's not all. Then we have one more thing, and let me try to get this one right. Yes, it's the Brilliant Sheep Farm. So people asking about the 8 feet, they'll find their solution in this NFT. This sheep farm does everything twice as better as your normal sheep farm pen. It will have twice the number of workers that will move twice as fast. It will also require half the ingredients. So it will require half the feed and half the water, but it will still require wood. And finally, it will craft the wool in half the time. The pricing would be $200. The supply would be 400 on Monday. And to make it a little bit easier for you to feed all those sheep, if you purchase 2 sheep pens in the first 24 hours, you will get 1 free trough within the next day or two. So that's all I have for Monday. I'll pass it back to Michelle.
All right, I think that's all we've got for our agenda. Are there any last minute questions here from the community?
Just checking. Any comments, guys? Meta with no water. It seems like people are not too pleased about 2 mountains and no river. So, hey, que será, será. You still have a little bit of time to check that feedback.
Yes, I will definitely go through it. I know it makes it harder, but that is the point of competition, guys. They are supposed to be on the slightly harder side. In fact, we might just make them harder in the future weeks. Maybe not through mountains, but differently.
Are there any other questions out there, guys?
Someone asked, what if they purchase 4 sheep pens? Will they get 2 troughs? Yes, you will get 2 troughs if you purchase 4.
I was jumping CGN. What's up that note about why it runs a bit sluggish? Well, I just captured it and we'll take a look at it as a team. If you've got an example, go ahead and share it. Thanks. Meaning a video example.
Oh, people want to get a new mic for Que Sera Sera. I think that's possible, right?
I just got a new one for this, but if there is a problem, still I'll get something new as well again.
We've got some people asking if there is a limit on how many sheep you can buy to get free troughs.
Yes, we will set a limit this time. We'll let you know all the details in the announcement.
Okay. I think then that's it for today's AMA. We're a little past the time, so thank you guys for listening through. Thank you for your questions, all your comments. Remember always to be respectful, though, and please just use that form to tell us about bugs, specific bugs, and things that exactly why they're wrong and stuff like that, and we can prioritize those things. So yeah. I think that's it. So thank you everybody on stage. Thank you Sage for coming in, and I'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. So let's see. Thank you The Thing for coming. Cubic Taha. I'm saying that right. TCP. Who else is in the call? Dark Magician. Of course, thank you DubstepRod, CryptoTones, Just keep telling Farmer Michelle, your feedback. She'll get it to the team.